Monday morning, the 15th of May, to the Art Lewis Show. Nice to have you with us. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we're going to learn about the Run for Grief at MBS International Airport. Chris Sabrin from the Children's Grief Council and James Canders, the airport manager, will be here. At 11 o'clock, Ken Buck from Buck Insurance will come a-calling on Focus. But for this hour, we're going to spend it with a legend in broadcasting, and particularly a legend in outdoor broadcasting. There is no finer. He has been doing it for decades and decades. I'm proud to call him a friend, and he is one of the true greats in the business. We say good morning to the one and the only Mike Avery.
Art, when you say those things, it's almost embarrassing, especially coming from a guy like you. And I'm proud to call you my friend as well. We've got to know each other over the years working here, and I have so much respect for you, the entire SGW crew, but you in particular. So thanks for inviting me in.
So I have a question for you. Look outside. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah, it is.
Why aren't we on an angler quest fishing rather than sitting here right now?
That is a very good question, because the wind is a very light south-southwest wind. I just happened to notice. I talked to a buddy of mine, Scott Hand, who is on the bay right now. He said, by the way, hi, Art.
Hi, Scott.
They're getting fish right now, so that is a very legitimate question, and I don't have an answer.
And speaking of Angler Quest, with the turnaround in the company, the new owner, the new spelling, did you get your boat yet?
Not yet. I talked to Mr. Angler Quest, Brad Dupuis, just this morning, in fact, about next week's podcast, and we're still working with that. And I told him, I said, look, I understand with a new company, your goal is to get boats out the door.
Yeah,
I'm very patient. Let's get this thing off the ground. I will have an Angler Quest to run this summer. It's just a matter, it's not going to be by Memorial Weekend, but there's still plenty of summer after that.
Yeah, absolutely. For you at home, if you have any questions about the outdoors, laws governing the outdoors, proposals about the outdoors and the like in the state of Michigan, you give us a call. Talk to Mike Avery at 989-752-6111, something that Mike can't do on his show. So we let him come in here and do it and get to talk to you directly. So give him a call if you have a question about the outdoors. So let's start with the new hunting, fishing fees, the license fees. A, is it a good thing? And B, do they use the money for what it's supposed to be used for?
Well, as of right now, there are no fees, no new fees. It's the same rate right now as it has been for the last 10 years.
I better hurry and get that fishing license.
That's right. But we're locked in this year. They cannot change them mid-year. So it will more than likely happen during the 2026 year.
It's in the new budget coming.
Yes, it would be part of that.
Yeah, it goes into effect in the fall.
And it's possible that it wouldn't even happen until 2027. So this, people are talking about, well, my license is going up. Yeah, eventually it will, just like everything else in the world. But no, it's not happening this year. The amount, the increase, what it's going to look like. I mean, you had the governor's proposal. You had the two legislators. You've got another group coming out now that wants to address just the fishing side of things. It's pretty convoluted right now, but there is no doubt they will go up. And I think it's a legitimate increase. People gripe about it, but things cost more, and I think they're still a good deal, good value.
Well, and the other thing, too, is there was talk they're going to mandate the park pass thing for your license plate. Mandate it. And money goes to the parks. And that's, I get it anyway.
Yeah.
I buy it anyway. I don't know that I want to be told I have to.
That's the whole thing, isn't it? Yeah.
That's really the whole thing. Here was, let me see here. I can read this to you. The budget for the Department of Natural Resources, passed by the Senate Wednesday in a narrow party line vote, proposes raising $28.8 million through increased hunting and fishing license fees, plus another $12 million by increasing boat licensing fees. These projected revenue hikes are based on increases of 20 to 25% in Michigan fees that have not gone up in decades. That part is true. They have not gone up, have they?
Right. No, they haven't. Nobody wants to pay more, Art. But the truth is, if you want, in my opinion, if you want to do something to get the benefits of something, there is a cost associated with it. As long as that money stays within the DNR, and it is supposed to, I don't like it, but I'm not going to worry too much about it because I am committed enough to the outdoor lifestyle of hunting and fishing that I will buy the licenses because I want to keep this tradition alive and I enjoy it. And if I can help somehow with the cause of funding this entire operation, I will do it. But I also realize that I'm blessed to be in a position where I can do it. If I was, in a different situation where it was harder to pay those fees, I might have a problem with it. But the money's got to come from somewhere.
Well, most of those folks that are in that position are retired. And there is a discount offered for retired people. Now, what that's going to be under the new fee structure, I don't know. But, I mean, at my age, I'm blessed to pay the fee that's hardly a fee.
Exactly. I'm paying the senior rate now for hunting and fishing licenses, too. And for the enjoyment I get out of it, it is a minimal fee.
Yep.
I always use the example, I could take my grandkids to the movies for 2 hours and pay more than I pay for an entire year of hunting and fishing.
Absolutely. We're stacked with phone calls, as I knew that would happen. So we're going to start with them now. Mike is in Thomas Township. Mike, you are on with Mike Avery.
Good morning, Art, and good morning, Mike. I listen to you every morning, Sunday morning.
Thank you.
But and sometimes Saturday. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about something I just came across last week, and it's called Ultimate Land Management and Whitetail Boot Camp. It's down in Coldwater, and I don't know if you ever heard of it, but this guy is awesome. He gives seminars all around the country, and he has a hall that he. But he had a museum. That's why I went up there Saturday, and because he collects a lot of Indian artifacts and.
Mike,
what's his name?
I want to just get you to the point, Mike, because I got a lot of calls, so I don't want to have a lot of spare time.
Well, the point was he has 32 acres of wooded land that he hunts, and he's had 50 mounts on the walls in his museum. He gets it nothing less than a 10-point, and it's almost incredible. I don't know what he does. He just has all the system down.
What's his name? What's his name?
Tony LaPratt.
Oh, Tony LaPratt. He's been around forever. Sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not a matter of how much land you have. It's having the right land, and obviously Tony's got the right land, and he manages it very well.
Yeah, he sure does. Because, I would just totally... I walk into his... he has a house, but it's also a museum. And you walk in and you see this wall of deer heads. Oh, my God. I was almost going to ask him if he got them all or if he was buying them. I didn't have to ask him.
All right, Mike.
Okay, hey,
Appreciate
take care.
it.
Good talking to you guys. Bye now.
All righty. Yeah, I don't want to be rude with anybody, but the calls are stacked up here, so we want to get as many people on with Mike as we possibly can. Take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to Errol and Tom when we return here on the Art Lewis Show as we chat with Mike Avery from the Outdoor Magazine Show that you hear on WSGW AM and FM. Saturdays from noon to 3, Sundays from 9 to noon. And we will be back. Let me talk about McDonald Ford in Freeland for a moment. You've noticed it's always been hard to find products made in America. And now with the uncertainty of tariffs, it's become even more important. McDonald Ford, in anticipation of tariffs, stocked their lot with tariff-free vehicles, with many more en route. Not only are they tariff-free, but Ford is offering employee pricing for everyone. That means you pay the same price as Ford employees do. In addition, Chrysler and import buyers considering a Ford also receive the lowest price offered. And Chevy truck buyers can now get the Ford F-150 pickup at employee pricing. So you see, now is the right time to visit McDonald Ford M47 in Freeland for the best selection and the lowest possible price. Don't let tariffs prevent you from getting the vehicle of your choice at a price you can afford. Visit McDonald Ford in Freeland today. Remember, tariff-free and employee pricing for everyone, and Ford has announced they will extend that employee pricing through July 6th. Stop in today at McDonald Ford.
What's the most important part of a retirement?
And only Mike Avery, who is sitting in the studio with me this morning, and we are not in his outdoor magazine studio, and there is no crowd outside cheering on Charlie Roode. So, but we do have a ton of callers, so get back to him, Mrs. Errol in Saginaw. Errol, you are on with Mike Avery.
Hi, Mike. I'm going to bring back a memory when you first came to Saginaw for Channel 5. I had papers for education in back of the Bangkok Hotel going through the roof, and you came over and you said, "Will that smoke hurt me?" And I said, "Not if you breathe in. If you don't breathe in, you're going to be in good shape."
There you go.
Bring that back as a memory. I love your show. I listen. I don't hunt and fish anymore, but I have not missed your Sunday show, and probably since you started it. So
wow.
I thank you for everything you do as charity. You're a wonderful person. So is your family. Talk to you later, sir.
I thank you for listening and being such a loyal listener. I appreciate that so very much.
I do. I enjoy every Sunday morning because that's what I have coffee with every morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Talk to,
All right,
talk
Errol.
to you later,
Take
sir.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And we go up to Bay City, and we'll talk to Tom this morning. You're on with Mike Avery. Tom, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, Mike, have you heard any rumors about pay to bait?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of rumors, and that's what they are, rumors.
Okay.
As you know, and just a little background for folks who don't, several years ago, the DNR banned baiting in the Lower Peninsula because of a fear of spreading CWD. The department has, in my opinion, and I've told them this flat out, they've painted themselves in a corner with chronic wasting disease, and they've put so much emphasis and so many resources in promoting this that they really can't back down from it now. So the department will never, in my opinion, in the foreseeable future, push for a license to allow baiting. However, some politicians are trying to do an end run and going around the outside. With some proposed legislation, the sense in Lansing is those things don't stand a chance. So I don't look for baiting to come back with a permit. A lot of people, myself included, would like to see it because I'm not convinced I buy into the whole premise that baiting will help spread CWD, but I don't look for baiting to come back in the Lower Peninsula.
Tom? Tom, you there?
Yo, sorry about that.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you giving me your opinion on that. And I guess my opinion, less hunters, gas is more expensive, proposed license fees. Somebody goes out in the woods, takes their kid, and doesn't see a deer. You know, it's not everybody's not out there for big bucks. Some guys are just out there to put a doe on the table, and a little bit of bait isn't going to hurt that process for them. But just my 2 cents.
No, I agree with you completely. I agree with you 100% in your statement.
All right, have a great day, guys.
You
Tom,
too.
you too. Thanks. And in Saginaw this morning, we talked to Joe. Joe, good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing well.
Wonderful.
I'm curious about what I think is kind of an untold story. I used to work at City Hall, and I walked to work every day, and I would cross the Saginaw River during the winter, and the guys were pretty amused because there was a guy in a suit and tie walking across watching, they're checking on the ice fishermen. Well, I noticed when I did that the clarity of the water has changed over the years. As I started to walk, the water was much less clear. I do some hiking, and we've got new rail trails and a variety of opportunities. So I'm curious, with all of your decades of experience as an outdoorsman, what good stories can you tell us? What things in the environment or the ecosystems have you noticed that are really much better today than they were years ago?
There are so many wonderful success stories, including our beloved Saginaw River and Saginaw Bay, the resurgence, the reestablishment of the walleye fishery there. Walleye are native to Saginaw Bay back in the 40s. Pollution and over-harvesting by commercial fishermen wiped out the population. The DNR and sportsmen's groups around the bay brought this fishery back to a world-class fishery, in part because the water is cleaner now. I look at the establishment of turkeys here in Michigan as being a success story. And as I drive around the Tri-Cities now and see eagles everywhere I look, I think the comeback of eagles is another fantastic success story. DDT years ago was in the environment. It caused cross bills. The birds couldn't feed. That's worked its way out of the system. Now you can see eagles absolutely everywhere. Are there concerns with other chemicals, pesticides? Yes, but I think that's another great conservation success story.
Let me ask you this, Mike. This is one of the more controversial ones. Is the resurgence of the wolf population a success?
Well, our Uper friends would sure say it's been a successful reestablishment. But here's the thing, Art. So many of my friends in the UP say, I wish the DNR would not have brought wolves back to the UP. They didn't really. Years and years ago, they experimented with bringing back a handful of wolves, and the locals killed every one of them. So the wolves that are in the UP right now have migrated in from Minnesota.
Natural.
Yes. Now, are there too many wolves? Yes. Do we need to control them? Yes. Is that a DNR problem? Responsibility? No. It's up to the feds. When the feds allow us to have a wolf hunt in Michigan, we will have another wolf hunt in Michigan.
Yeah. Joe?
Well, one other thing you should be aware of. I grew up without a father or a lot of father figures in the family, no uncles that were close, etc. So listening to shows like yours provides an opportunity for a guy like me to learn about something I've not been exposed to. So I don't know if you ever thought about that, but you do make an impact that way, too.
That's why we call him Daddy Mike.
Big Daddy. Oh, man. Thank you. That means so much to me. I honestly do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Joe.
Okay, guys.
Have a
enjoy
good
your
one.
day.
You too.
Bye-bye now. And let's talk to John in Bay City. John, good morning. You're on with Mike Avery.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you,
Good.
Mike?
Good.
Mike, you're about my age, so you've seen the deer turnaround from the northern peninsula or the northern Michigan to southern Michigan into this area in specific. And I know Tom touched on the bait ban, but they really have to do something. There's pockets of deer now where you can't garden, but this neighbor baiting or that neighbor baiting with for birds can legally draw the deer in and kind of create a problem. The same with geese and different animals. And now they've got such a problem in the Bay County area out by Delta College. I was listening to a talk show, and a lady that was running a race out there was actually taken out hit by a deer.
Jeez.
People are hitting deer all over in the cities because they come out of everywhere. And what I talked to my state representative, I know a person right now that is had a felony for shooting a deer over bait with a $3,000 fine. This is kind of getting out of control.
Mike?
I'm questioning the felony because that is a misdemeanor to hunt over bait. And
Well,
what county did he get the felony and a $3,000 fine?
Bay County.
Bay County? Okay. Yeah, that's a little much, huh?
Mm-hmm. But the DNR has the power to do it. And
Well, they don't have the power to change the law, though. They have the power to do what's within the law.
Yeah. But anyways, what needs to be done is with these deer is if they eventually what they'll do is like they've done in southern Michigan, they're going to bring a wave of archer shooters to take care of some of these deer problems instead of just letting people bait.
Professional hunters eliminating herds, yeah.
Correct.
Mike?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
All right, hang on, John.
I'm all in favor of letting hunters control a deer population because the North American Wildlife Management Program calls for managing populations through licensed hunters, and it's proven to be very successful. So in those areas where there are too many deer, if the local communities would open them up to archery hunting and control that population, we could take care of that. Now, going back to the baiting, that's such a hot issue here in Michigan. I agree with you guys. I think we should be allowed to bait, but I don't see it happening in the near future.
Yeah. All right, John, I got to take a break real quick.
Okay, thank you.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, bye.
All right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye. We'll take a break. Be right back. We'll get to Bill next. You, Mike Avery in studio with me. You hear him on the Outdoor Magazine radio show every weekend on WSGW AM and FM. Saturdays from noon to 3, Sundays from 9 to noon. And Bill is with us in Thomas Township. Bill, you're on with Mike Avery. Good morning.
Good morning. I enjoy your program, Mike.
Thank you.
There's a couple things. I don't agree with the closing the season during the coyotes in the spring like that. You know, they did that a long time ago when they introduced the wolves in the UP. They closed the coyote season. And one other thing, I don't really agree with the push for dove season. You know, as a hunter most of my life, I don't see what the purpose is or what the fun is just shooting mourning doves when we have so many other game birds that we can hunt. So I just wonder what your thoughts were.
You know, I understand that with the mourning doves completely because my dad was the exact same way. He was a hardcore hunter. He's the guy who introduced me to the outdoors and to bird hunting in general. And he said the same thing. He said, we've got doves flying all over the place. Why would you guys want to shoot them? So I do understand that, but also I come at it from the perspective of they are the number one game bird in the country. We are one of the few states who don't shoot them. The rest of the states along the flyway shoot them all the way down. I am a guy who is in favor of all outdoor recreational opportunities that don't negatively impact the resource. And a dove hunting season would not negatively impact the resource. So I'm going to come out in favor of it, but I completely understand the fact that you don't. I get that.
So it just opens it to those who want to do it. Not everybody has to do it.
Well, and we had a season for a year, right? For 1 year. We had a dove hunting season in Michigan. And now it's gone because hunters did not back fellow hunters. And I think we can use that as an example of why we need to stick together these days.
Do we have pheasant hunting here or anything like that?
We have a season, but it's not pheasant hunting like it was back when I was a kid growing up. But yeah, and there are parts of the state where pheasants are coming back, but we will never see pheasant numbers like we used to. Farming practices have changed.
Yeah, Bill?
Yeah, that's true. What are your thoughts on the coyote situation, though?
I am very frustrated with our current NRC, our Natural Resources Commission. I'm sure that as individuals, they are very nice people, and I would love to sit down and have a cup of coffee with each one of them. But as a whole, I don't think they're effective. I am very frustrated by them. I do feel like they're finally starting to hear some public input and maybe starting to listen to us. But when they stopped the year-round coyote hunting season, not on biological reasons, but on public perception, that's when they started to get my attention, and that's when I lost faith in them. Hopefully we can get that turned around. But listen, they are charged with making this Proposal G in 1996. We passed it as a state calling for sound scientific wildlife management practices. So our NRC, our governing body, cannot now turn around years later and say, well, we're going to base something on social science and not biological reasons. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that doesn't change here down the road.
I think it's going to. I feel like it is. They left the door open for the next meeting to take action on it.
Well, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill, thanks, Bill. Have a good one. Bye-bye now. All right, we're going to take a break, come back. We're going to talk to Mike about a couple of things. Let's hold off the calls. No more calls now because I need some time for me, and we'll do that when we return.
The time has come to ask Attorney...
Some other things. This is Dan in Saginaw, our last caller. Dan, good morning.
Good morning, Mike, and good morning, Art.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I've listened to Mike, for a number of years off and on, and got some interesting things. And what I've come across lately is a lot of more eagles. I live in Saginaw, and I've seen quite a few of them. at different sites, and even wrote a couple of stories about a couple of them. So sometime I wouldn't mind getting with Mike and just some of the things I've done. Of course, you already know about that, Art. I've said a few of them on your show already.
Mm-hmm.
And but I've had couple encounters with them.
Yeah, there are a lot more, aren't there?
The first eagle I saw was not until I was 35 years old, and it was a nest way out in Clare County in the middle of nowhere. And it was a real treat. And to this day, every eagle I see, every eagle's nest I see, it's special to me. But it's interesting that this younger generation, I'm talking about my grandkids, will be driving around. Well, a few years ago when they were younger, we'd be driving around and go, oh, there's an eagle. And they're like, yeah, Grandpa, we get it. We see eagles all the time. To them, there's almost no distinction between an eagle and a seagull. But to me, it's like, wow, this is so cool. Yeah, I just love the fact that we've got a bunch of them around these days.
That's a regeneration story.
Yes.
Big time.
Well, I've seen a lot of them right in the city of Saginaw almost.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right.
Would you be interested in hearing one of those and emailing you sometime?
Let me suggest you email them. What's your email
Mike
address?
at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Anybody wants to get in touch with me, email is the best route. Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com.
All right.
Mike at MikeAvery.com.
Outdoors.com.
Oh, okay.
All right. Got to
Great.
run.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so I wanted to save a few minutes here at the end to chat with Mike about a couple of things. One of the great outdoor activities is golf. It doesn't require a hunting license or a fishing license.
I've fallen back in love with it.
And you've fallen in love with it to the point where you've created a tournament. So tell us about this.
Last year during a Wednesday night live, and this is a live stream I do on Wednesday night, how original is that? The concept came up. I said, one of my goals for this summer is I want to fish more and I want to play more golf. And somebody, named Bill Lincoln out of Frankenmuth, suggested, why don't you have a Mike Avery Outdoors golf outing? I'm like, never thought of that before. And by the end of the 45-minute live stream, it started to get traction, get wheels, and before I know it, we're like, okay, we're going to have a golf outing. Where are we going to have it? The superintendent of the West Branch Country Club was on and said, you can have it at the West Branch Country Club. And it just took off. So I thought, if I'm going to have a golf outing, a charity golf outing, it is going to be for an outdoor cause. Okay, who could it be? Who am I working with? MUCC, their youth camp. So last year we had a golf outing for MUCC's youth camp to get kids involved in the outdoors. First year, out of the box, out of the gate, we raised $10,000, which I thought was pretty good, pretty cool. Art, you were there. I think it was a big success. This year, the second annual golf outing is Friday, July 25th, again at the West Branch Country Club. We are signing up golfers now. The sponsorship this year is just phenomenal. Security Credit Union, a company I work with, has signed on board, and they've really come in. They're promising a bunch of money. We're going to raise some good money this year for MUCC's youth camp. I'm encouraging people to get involved. You don't have to be a great golfer. MUCC.org/golf, MUCC.org/golf, Friday, July 25th at the West Branch Country Club.
I want to talk about MUCC for a minute because I know this is an organization you champion.
Yeah.
What is there about this organization that makes them so good?
In my opinion, the fact that they are a grassroots organization in that they do not make a policy until their members decide that policy means a lot to me. Also, they are so plugged in Lansing. The staff is very small, but they are extremely dedicated, hardworking, and they can get things done. Amy Trotter, executive director, you look at her, and you'd never know she is so powerful in Lansing. She comes across as this sweet, nice lady, and she is, but man, she can get things done. So it is the only organization I can think of where if a member has an idea and they believe strongly enough about it and they're willing to work for it, they can go through MUCC and get it done.
And the thing about it is membership is inexpensive.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's like $40 for an individual member or something like that. And that's what I am encouraging people these days, is to become an individual member. Because if you become a member through a club, say Saginaw Field and Stream Club.
I was just going to say Field
and Stream Club only pays MUCC something like $5 for you. If you come in as an individual member, it's $30 or $40. And I just think that what you get for that money is well worth it. And MUCC could use the support. So let's get involved with MUCC.
All right, Mike, so as you sit here today doing your outdoor magazine show, what do you see as the most pressing issues in the world of outdoor sports in Michigan?
Apathy and infighting.
I knew you were going to go there.
Apathy and